Manila yogi go body grip you to water. Kiso swan the young lava came yet Tanzania. She lived at Tago. Chow check, go you see hell, your daughter. Ludai, Paramazo, Luda Piezo, Luda Pisa, what they eat. Trace and Yaita, Luda. My beauty, no, she and Trace and Bamam Quam. Beauty, her beauty, that's what I got. Look at the alley body, Pete Howard. I'll call my Kisuna. Goma, Goga, I'll call my Buddha Ada Canada, Pimana Canada. They get you at that. So as you loaded, so as you get you at it. So as you tell us here, Sayadaw. So more open than other Indriyas or theatre. Indriyas and Balatra. So that quite a divide to do our door. Kawashi, Luda and Yazuha, Coco, also name. Go by also lady body, Namalem. Beluco go now, also a mess with a Kaliwa Savi the day now. The chicken jazz none of the age you were. Go also name Soy, so I see on lower whatever. That is so our Logama Tapina Lemalago. A time I call them Lava, you see them. The Didi Chavoli, Lupida or Nitana Nidi Bales or Lulu Sitata or Nitana Nidi Bale. Ludinia she will look at the Piao, Nitana Nidi Bales or Susanna Vale, Saberia Susanna Vale. A Pimanga leve Pocuri, Lila, Shafu, Susanna Vale, that they eat. Susan Michigan, a chattel need all she and all. Lupita or Malweva. To the Gavaloji or Ludiveruchin in the desert. Ludo Sayadaw Salamalweva, Sayadaw is a handsome Wachida. Uri at Tamataro, Uri at Damitharuda. Uri Davisuru, Kavaya Piedi, Gelepiani Davaya. Ludian Saralavan, see it don't hear me don't. Coloma, Pioma Ayari, Joshi, Timothy, Chintan Ayavoda. He looked like Joshi the Lopez Ravoli. Joshi the Nilam, Nilam, Pelusi, and Nilam the Joshi of Lamuja. The Lovat of Pito Yarava, come go never Pito Ravada. Pito Kanakuji, the great Nitara Ravoli, Rama Matrato. Now, I'm solution to him Lolo, Subita, Mapo. A bone like Pialet, you beautiful Eddie Deva, she will toast from you know. Mapo, and Mataro. The Deva, the water, your lady, plastic, quickly, plastic, lady, Pangu, Sally. SADHU Sadi Sadi Oli Dari, calling the Tansi Vido. ဒီစာကဲဆိုတော့လောက်ကြတယ်သူကသုပိပိစေးရဲ့ဒီဩဇာတက်မဟုတ်တော့ဘူးအဲဒီကသဘောတူပိစေးရဲ့ရှာဖွေပြီးတော့တန့်စီပြီးတော့ဒီစာကဲဆိုတော့လောက်ကြတာအဲဒီအမိုက်ပုံကြီးလိုပါပဲခန္ဓာကိုယ်ကအမိုက်ပုံကြီးကိုအမိုက်ပုံကြီးတိုက်ထားလို့ရှိရင်တော့ချိန်ကြတော့ပျက်စီးတာပဲခန္ဓာကိုယ်ကြီးကအမိုက်ပုံကြီးနဲ့တိတ်တူတာပဲအဲဒီအမိုက်ပုံနဲ့တူတဲ့ခန္ဓာကိုယ်ကြီးတွေကတကယ်အဖြစ်သာရတဲ့အချိန်ကြီးထုတ်တတ်လို့ရှိရင်ဒီမိုက်ပုံကြီးကိုအကျိုးရှိစွာနဲ့အသုံးချတတ်သူဟာလူအစစ်တမ်းမြင့်တက်လာတာပဲလူပိသားလာမယ်လူလိုစိတ်ထားလာမယ်လူအသိဉာဏ်ရှိပြီးတော့လူထက်လူဖြစ်လာမှာလားပဲ
Yesterday, Sayadawgyi made a promise to the yogis. He said that there are 9 causes for the 5 ruling powers, the ruling faculties, to become keen, to become bright, to become strong. Among humans, the most important thing is to be a true human being. Humans are far better than animals, but if we don't correct ourselves, then we're no different from an animal. What we need to do to repair or correct ourselves is we need to add energy. For our bodies, if we have energy physically, then we're able to stand the conditions of cold and heat. And if we have enough power, then our abilities are able to govern, to control us, to rule. So Sayadawgyi spoke about powers and ruling faculties. The word in Pali is bala and indriya. And these two are different, but they refer to the same things. The people of the world, most people of the world, are not able to control themselves. They're not able to govern themselves. They know nothing about what it is to govern themselves. They don't know how to do it, and from the time we are children onwards, we don't know how it is that we have to go about developing the abilities needed to control ourselves. This is something that is not learned through having a good education. It's not learned through having a good circle of friends. There's a distinct method for making oneself a true human being, a method for developing a humane mentality. And although we are human, there's a method for developing special human knowledge. So we have to investigate to try to find these methods. And we have to search in the text and also search to find this among people who may know it. So if we don't search, investigate, and look for this, if we just let our life go on without any type of development, then we can see how people are in the world now if we want to know what that will be like. People have there's very little real humanity. There may be pretense, but it's not real. There are laws that prevent, that prohibit gross misdeeds. And if there were no laws, then the world would certainly be destroyed. In fact, the world is being destroyed. So people have human intelligence, but we need to have this basic human intelligence is to be able to reflect before we do something, before we say or plan something. Is this going to be beneficial or not? Is this going to be suitable or not? So we need to have this reflective ability. But even when people have this ability, even when they know this work is beneficial, if people don't follow through and work according to what would be beneficial, and most people just end their lives with sense pleasures. So we need to know how it is we can extract value from our life in the time that we have. And in the West, people use the garbage. They take things out of the garbage and they extract value from what people have thrown away. And people no longer just make one big garbage heap anymore. People, when they throw things out, they have to throw things out. Plastics go in one place and glass goes in another place, and pieces of paper and so on go in another place. And then this thrown away stuff is collected and cleaned and recycled and made into something useful. And in this way, what is thrown out no longer just fills up the earth. It's recycled and made useful again. The body that we have is very much like a trash heap. And in time, it will just fall apart. It will become useless. So in order to extract the value from this trash heap of our body, of our life, we have to, one who is able to do this in time is able to, although being a human in form, one is able to become a true human being. One is able to develop a truly humane heart, and being human, one is able to develop special human knowledge if one can extract the value from this life in time.
To get Lui Jimusura Go Teacho Nabo Teacho Nesura Leve, Teacho Nesura Leve, Teacho Neswan, Swan Ashivama, Teacho Lugayara. There are Somo Ocho Kore, Swan Lulay lower the water. There are Palido, Indriya Lokore, Indriya, Somo Ucho Naison, Somo Ucho Naido, Somo Ucho Do. Now, there are Go, Somo Ucho Kuya. The gate of Mandiago, Yogi was a Tina, shout Lodo. Mamoria, my love, go where we are. Era in a chick of that. Era it go swan out, don't shut out. Satire Langa of my own solution, era was Yogi never. No payment to swan out, she needs it all. Swan has started the lease or level, Manganet dream hotel, Rachel at the Fitway. စိတ်ဆူဆီးမှုဆိုတာလည်းပဲမှန်ကန်တဲ့ဆူဆီးမှုမဟုတ်တော့စိတ်တုံ့ညွှန်မြင်တုံဆိုတဲ့အသိဉာဏ်တွေကအသိဉာဏ်ကလည်းပဲတကယ်အမှန်တရားပေါ်မှာဖြစ်ပေါ်တဲ့အသိဉာဏ်မဟုတ်တော့ဒါလည်းပဲကြီးစိုးနိုင်တဲ့စွမ်းအားကမရှိတော့ကဘာသူကဘာသာအများစုဟာဘောလေထေရတွေလျှောက်လွတ်တာတွေများတာပါပဲအမှားတွေလိုက်တော့တာပါပဲလမ်းမှာနှိုးရှိတဲ့တဲကလမ်းမှာမကြည့်ဘူးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်လမ်းမကြီးလျှောက်တော့တာပဲမျက်စိမမြင်တဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာမြင်ပေမဲ့လို့ဝိုးဝါးရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာလမ်းမှာမရွေးချယ်တတ်တော့အဖို့မရှိဘူးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့စိတ်တွေကြည့်နေလေကြပြီးတော့ဒုက္ခရောက်တာပဲမြင်တော့မြင်ပါတယ်ဝိုးဝါးတော့မြင်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်လည်းပဲတကယ်လမ်းမှာအရှိကိုမလျှောက်ခွေတတ်တော့စံတဝါနဲ့တွားလို့ရှိရင်ဒါလည်းဒုက္ခရောက်တာပဲဒီတော့ကိုလိုတဲ့စီတွားတဲ့အခါမှာလမ်းမနဲ့လမ်းမှပြီးပြီးတော့ဟောလေလမ်းမှလျှောက်မှစခန်းမှရောက်မယ်ဆိုတဲ့အသိစိတ်ဓာတ်ကလေးနဲ့လောက်ပါမှဘေးရနေကျင်းပြီးတော့အေးချမ်းတဲ့နေရာရောက်နိုင်ပါလေအဲ့ဒီလူတဘာဝလေးစဉ်းစားရပါတယ်ဓမ္မအခုတရားထုတ်တယ်ဆိုတာအခုလက်ရှိဘဝလူပိသားကိုလူစိတ်ဓာတ်ကိုလူပညာရှိပြီးတော့လူထိုက်လူဖြစ်ဖို့တကယ်လို့နောက်ဘဝကြီးဆက်ရအောင်မယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့ဆက်ရမယ့်ဘဝတွေမှာလည်းပဲယခုဘဝကပေါ်ထားတဲ့လမ်းမှာကြောက်မသွားရအောင်ပေါ့လေဒီဘဝပေါ်ထားတဲ့လမ်းမှာကိုနောက်ဘဝမှာဆက်ပြီးတော့ရှောက်နိုင်ဖို့ဆိုတာပါလေအဲဒီစီမံကိန်းချဖို့ဟာအရေးကြီးဆုံးပဲဒီတဘောတာလေးကဘာမှကြာတော့မဟုတ်ခဏလေးပုံတော့တော့ပဲအဲဒီတခဏလေးနေရတဲ့ဘဝမှာလူပိသားကိုလူစိတ်ဓာတ်တော့လူပညာရှိဖို့သိအရေးကြီးတယ်ဆိုတာပေါ့လေနောက်ဘဝတွေဆက်ရလို့ရှိရင်လည်းပဲဆက်ကောင်းဘဝလေးတွေရရှိဖို့သိအရေးကြီးတယ်ဆိုတာပေါ့လေကိုယ့်ဘဝကိုလေးလေးနဲ့စဉ်းစားဖို့သိအရေးကြီးပါတယ်
Real human civilization, real human culture is to control oneself, to be able to control or govern oneself. And self-control can only happen when one has the ability or the faculties for doing this. One needs to have the ruling faculties. And these are needed by everyone. In Pali, this is called Indriya. Indriya means that which is able to rule or govern. So we need to rule ourselves. If we don't develop these abilities, then we just do as we think is right. Without the faculty of faith, true faith, then we just worship this thing or that thing randomly. And one uses one's energy in pursuit of that belief, which is just based on imagination. And because the start of the path that we walk at that time is unreliable, is worthless, the effort that we make in pursuit of that belief is in vain. And our awareness is focused on the wrong thing, so it's wrong awareness. The collectedness of mind that we have is also focused on the wrong thing, so it's wrong collectedness of mind. And what we know, because the object of our knowledge is false, the knowing that we have also is wrong. So we have not been able to develop the ruling faculties. We don't have these at all. And most people live like this without any true self-control. Without the ability to distinguish between what is the wrong path and the right path, one will just, because of not knowing, follow the wrong way. When a person can't see, they're not able to see which path it is they should follow unless they have a guide. And if someone doesn't have clear vision, one also won't be able to see clearly which path to choose. So one needs to be able to choose the right path as opposed to the wrong one. And then it's very important to find the right path and then to follow it, because only if one follows the right path will one reach the safe destination. So we should think about what human life is. The practice is to make us a true human being, to develop a humane mentality, and to develop a special human knowledge. As long as the cause for a new life exists, a new one will come. So, as we walk the path, we don't want to lose the path from one life to the next time. We want to make sure that we can continue to follow the path in the lifetime to come. Life is gone in a minute, in a moment, and this life, in which we stay for just a moment, we can use it to become a true human being, to develop a humane mentality, to develop special human knowledge. But what is important is so that is to be able to continue along this path into the next lifetime. So we have to reflect on our own life.
Ku shawya me lang man wishi ta pho tai yi chi ba da. Lang man shaw ma sakha ma yaw nai le so ba le. Parma so lang man pya nai le puggol bo le. Sik cha ya de ja gu na wa aya sa pe aya bo le. Paut tin ne mai sui aya da ri ne set sap pi doတကယ်လမ်းပြကောင်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေပေါ့လေရွေးချယ်တတ်ဖို့သိရည်ကြည်တယ်ရွေးချယ်လို့တွေးပြီးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဒီပုဂ္ဂိုလ်မှီရတဲ့အတွက်သူစီကကိုယ်ဘဝလွန်ဆောင်ဖို့ရံပေါ့လေကျိုးရှိရှိတည်မတဲ့ချစ်တွေ့နိုင်တဲ့ကိုယ်ပညာလေးတွေရဖို့အရေးကြီးပါတယ်လူရလို့ဖြစ်လာပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အပြုပြောကြံစီမှုဆိုတာမကင်းစကောင်းဘူးပြုမှုရက်ကလေးတွေအတန်းနဲ့ဆိုပြည့်ကင်းနေမြတ်ကင်းဖို့ပြောဆိုချက်လေးတွေလည်းပြည့်ကင်းနေမြတ်ကင်းဖို့စိတ်နဲ့စိတ်ထားလေးတွေလည်းပရမတော့အတန်းနဲ့ဆိုပြည့်ကင်းနေမြတ်ကင်းဖို့ရှုပ်တိန်တဲ့ဒီလေးတွေသူအားရှိအောင်ပွားများရတဲ့နည်းလေးတွေပေါ့လေဒါလေးတွေယူရပါတယ်တော့ဒီလိုက်လာတဲ့အတွက်အကျိုးရှိဆိုတာတော့ဒီအကျိုးရှိမှလည်းသိရပါတယ်အဲ့ဒီအတိညာဟာသာဓကသံပညာစပ္ပယသံပညာတဲ့ကိုလှုပ်ဖို့ပြောဖို့ကြံစီဖို့ပေါ့လေကိစ္စတွေပေါ်ပေါက်လာတဲ့အခါမှာအကျိုးရှိသိမတဲ့ဖြစ်နေတဲ့အတိညာလေးတွေပေါ့လေဒါတွေကမိဘတွေကစပေးရပါတယ်ဆရာသမားတွေစီရတယ်ယူရပါတယ်ဒါသိအရေးကြီးပါတယ်အဲ့ဒီအခြေခံလေးတော့သိထားပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ကျိုးရှိတဲ့ဟာတွေရွေးလို့ရှိရင်ကိုယ်မှာ Manari, maybe the two and the Lotal Jury Chila, Surabari. They let in Surabari. So just as one sheet at Dinya Lady, Koma Yola, era te Jiva. That is Chiga, Dinya Shita Pokuha. Lama Laloshi, Joshi Masura, Yogi. Lama Sholoshi, Joma Philitra, Yogi. That are the alley, the Shila. Lama Shafu Yandre, Josa Lara. Some young Shafu Yandre, the really Shila. Some young shouted, Yashi, Julie, or the Sioux sex shouted, a Julie, the Lavi, Soloche, the Longman, Soravoli. Nagoga, Shaunawale, Yontare, Tata Dialiha, Kore Chilaro, Hote Soravoli, Dinilamane, Dinilan, I shouted to Angama, Julia, Soravoli. So such a Japanese, Tata Diavoli, Italy, the lady Sapsila. Lady of Piamalona was always a Piogo, Hogon, and Boko in a Twitter. Koga, Massinia, Massiza Dato, Mamekanga, Yogidate, Yogate. At a Muta Patana, Muta Patana Sura. Mamekanga Yogida Kukavaloga Jima Mamekanga Yogi to the Toroliani, right? Now, landlord is sweet, Take up in Yaya Josa Luliha Sauli Pilevara Davi Melo Say they say Tara or Mashano Sauli Piletane, Chia Nida, Eddie Piatana, a key, but we have a feeling of Yawada.
It's very important to be able to choose the path that one is going to walk, because the right path will lead to the right destination. So there should be someone reliable who can point out the path, either reliable texts or a reliable person. There should be someone who can point out this path, and one has to depend on this person, so it is very important. One should have the ability to weigh what is beneficial and what isn't, what is suitable and what isn't. People don't live without doing things, without saying things, without planning things, thinking. And it's important to be free of fault as much as possible in whatever one does or speaks or plans. So there's a way to avoid things which should be avoided and to do things which should be done. And to follow this is beneficial. So one should have there are two types of understanding. One is the understanding of what is beneficial or not, Sataka Sampajanya. And the other is clear comprehension of what is suitable or not, Sapaya Sampajanya. So this Sataka Sampajanya, the knowledge of what is beneficial or not, is something that parents have to teach their children. Parents or else teachers, they must teach this, because when one knows how to weigh whether something is beneficial or not, then one will be able to choose the things that bring benefit. And in doing those things that one has chosen, one will get benefit. And doing this, one comes to develop the understanding of what is suitable to do and what is not suitable to do. So such a person with the ability to weigh what is beneficial and what is not, what is suitable and what is not, has faith that the right path will lead to the right destination. The wrong path will lead to the wrong destination. They will have confidence in this, and so they will work to follow the right path. And applying themselves on the right path, they will develop sati. And this, because of this sati, their mind will become collected, and they will come to know. So as one comes to develop knowledge, one finds through one's own experience that what one initially believed is actually true. One believed it at the start, but one comes to see through experience that this is true. And this type of faith is called decisive faith. So if one can't develop this type of faith based on knowledge, decisive faith or informed faith, then one is likely to fall prey to someone who is a good speaker. This type of faith, when someone believes just because it sounds good, is called vipassana. That is faith in something that is worthless. And there are many people who believe in this way in the world. When we choose a path, if we choose the path of science and technology, we can get material welfare. We can get what we need to clothe ourselves. We can get enough for shelter. But this doesn't make people happy. And people suffer in the world through following this path of material fulfillment. And they don't know the way to solve the problem of the suffering they feel.
Lokama tati tatiyari yosomare. Gukisu pepeka totally rapito. Yogi bega totally pinyari ha over column of Chipana. Below tatiyari tanti melo, tamio pivelo. The Bawasa at way. Go with us to go, Taiwan to it. Saoni Pile Yuma Luelu, Tipi Apum Sivahu. Jaro Levati, Platin, Tapinari, Tom Salu. Yashi the season, however, Jaro Yodora. It was Danebalo. Danebalo, Saint Satan, Dinya. She would take over. Go, Pianale, you lower. Mimia Bales or a body. Luro, Lumanti above it. Poco Tatua Vesera, the Luro Tijavare. Yojazolo Mimia, Yojama Tijavare. Mima Tijavare. Tiga. That is Sunny Ramashiva. Bama to Sunday Timo Bom. Mimia Duves or a body. Dilema Bari Ponsa with a pinny the layers of one. Bari Shini the rest of a body. Yes, of Yaga, Yonena, she the Lusovada. The Yona Tiariha. Jonet to Joe says of the pinny the Lulebe. Hoge about it. The Jojo said, Yona Tiarego, the Chandra Savio, this body, that it people do this body. Jojo said, Yona Tiareha, a good ship, a good jet water. How this send it there so that you will never hold over it? It are certain Timilochi, the great Chandra. တွေ့နိုင်တယ်ဆိုတာပေါ့လေမြတ်စွာဘုရားကိုယ်တိုင်ရှောက်ခဲ့ပြီးတော့ဒါတွေဟောသွားပါတယ်ကိုနားလည်ဖို့သိအရေးကြီးပါတယ်ကိုနားလည်ဖို့ဆိုတာကအတိအယမထက်မြက်လို့ရှိရင်မရပါဘူးတနည်းအားဖြင့်လိုအပ်တဲ့စိုးမိုးအုပ်ချုပ်နိုင်တဲ့စွမ်းအားတွေမကောင်းဘူးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်နားမလည်ပါဘူးနားလည်ဖို့ခဲရင်ပါတယ်ဒီတော့အကျဉ်းစားကျောင်းကျိုးစရုံနာတရားတွေဟာပေါ်ပြီးတော့ပြောက်တဲ့တရားတွေကြီးပဲဆိုတာပေါ့လေသိဖို့တဲ့တရားတွေသိဖို့ရအတွက်ရိုးရိုးမှန်နဲ့ကြည့်လို့မရတော့မှပါဝါတွေထည့်ရပါတယ်အဲ့ဒီပါဝါထည့်တဲ့နည်းတွေမြတ်စွာဘုရားပေးတော်ပါတယ်ဓမ္မဣန္ဒြိယနိတိဋ္ဌာနိပဝန္တိသတ္တဝိယတတိသမารိပညာခေါ်တဲ့တရားတွေထက်တန်ရတယ်တဲ့တိခါဆိုတော့ထက်တော်ရှပ်ဖြစ်တော်ဒါကဆိုတော့တိခိနဆိုတာတိခါကိုတိခိနဖွင့်ထားပါတယ်ဒါများတွေးထားလို့ရှိရင်ထက်နေတာဝိတ္တရဆိုတာပြတ်သားတယ်တိခိနဝိတ္တရဆိုတာပြတ်သားတယ်တခုလှိလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်တုံးနေတဲ့ဓာတ်ဆိုရင်မရှင်းဘူးထက်တဲ့ဓာတ်ပြန်လှိလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ရှိရလဲဆိုရှင်းမဲ့ပြတ်သွားတာပြီးတော့အလိခံရတဲ့အရာလည်းပဲဓာတ်ထက်တဲ့လှိလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ရှေ့တိုးသွားတယ်တုံးတဲ့ဓာတ်နဲ့လှိတယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော်တော်နဲ့မတိုးထက်ပြတ်တဲ့ဓာတ်လေးနဲ့ကျက်တုံလုံးဘာလို့လှိလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ချက်တိုးတာပဲဒီမိမိမှာတတ္တဝိယတတိသမารိပညာတရားတွေထက်တဲ့တန်တန်ရှင်းလင်းလင်းပြတ်သားသားရှေ့တိုးနေအောင်နဲ့အဲ့ဒါတွေလုပ်ရမယ်အဲ့ဒါတွေထက်တန်ရမယ်ဒီလိုမြတ်စွာဘုရားမိန့်ကြားထားပါတယ်
In the world, there are various forms of education, various things that one can study. And in the world at present, the level of education that people can obtain is very high, amazingly high. But no matter how much education one has, all that it will provide for is this one lifetime, one's family, one's circle of friends. That's all. And if we use our education to get material things, these things just become old. So material fulfillment is not enough. We need to have a humane heart, humane mentality, and we need to have special human knowledge. We need to ask, what am I? A human. If we're a human, we know we're a human. We know we're a person. A man knows he's a man. A woman knows she's a woman. So we know in this way. But animals also know in this way. This is nothing special. What is it that we are made of? What is it that make up this being? The Buddha said that it's mind and matter, nama and rupa, that arise due to causes, and they are connected with each other as cause and effect. And in order to know this mind and matter, which is related as cause and effect, from a very gross level down to a very fine level, we have to try to know this. Just now it arose and now it's passing away. The old is always being replaced by the new. And if we practice so that we develop knowledge stage by stage, we can experience true happiness. This is what the Buddha said. The Buddha searched for this true happiness, the way to it. He found it and he taught it. So to understand ourselves is very important. And to gain this knowledge, if one does not have the ability to control oneself, if one does not develop the governing faculties, it's not easy to come to know. So these Dhammas, phenomena, they all arise and pass away. And to know this subtle Dhamma, one can't just use ordinary glass. One has to add power to the mind. One has to add the power of faith, of virya, of sati, samadhi, and panya. So these ruling faculties must be developed. And these must be sharp and keen. As Sayadawgyi said last night, the texts say, Indriyani tekani bhavanti, that it is necessary to make these high faculties sharp and keen. So the word tekani is explained as tikina. That means it needs to be, these faculties need to be sharp, like a knife, so that the way a knife is sharpened so that it will cut. If a knife is dull, it won't make a clean cut. But when it's sharp, it cuts cleanly. And when it's sharp, also it can pierce. It can go forward. So when a knife is dull, it can't pierce things. So in order for one's faith, effort, sati, samadhi, and panya to become keen and sharp, the Buddha said we need to do this, we need to work to develop this.
Don't you say, Pia Tibo Ma, a Chega, you she was a Lucia. No Panga Gojo to Joe. People young body. Josa Musra Malanemo Uria Suram Kinemo, Uria Sura Yeye Move, Yeye Sura she Dora. She Yeye Mum, she was already Bama to Diamond. Mayomu to Rosa, Mayomu of Solution, Yeye Mua, Tepata Machine. Jojiwa, the Yemu of Piatavare Piatare Uria Shima, the Nigerego Gawe Peso, the dear Teta Ranevara. The tea Teta must say to see with the Maris or Leve, so are the corner over there. Swadi Kauma, the gay sheep, Jojo the Yunan, the Ari, says a thing in the you know, that idea, the gay Jojo the Yunan, the Ari, Yogi solution, or Yogi Munau, Uria the Titamari, Pinyari, dancing, you know, Paya Palama.
If we don't have any basic faith that matter and mind arise due to cause and effect, arise and pass away, if we don't have any basic faith in this, then the effort to work for one's own benefit and to work for the benefit of others will not follow. this virya, courageous effort, will not develop. Courageous effort is that which advances. It doesn't back off. And if there's no effort, there won't be any progress. One won't advance. Without faith, then one's effort will not be decisive. Only with decisive effort can one's sati become good. Sati arises. Sati acts to prevent defilements entering the mind. So without decisive effort, this sati, which prevents defilements from entering, only then will sati be good. And only if sati is good will the collectedness of mind, samadhi, develop. And only from good collectedness of mind can knowledge develop. And when knowledge progresses, one comes to know stage by stage. So if one has confidence that mind and matter arise and pass away, if one has this faith, then virya, sati, samadhi, and panya will follow in a series.
Samapyathara Navaha Karihi Kumyodo Chauchetu Chow Kumyodo Chauchetu Aya Kuna Sosoving Apyogere Jisu Swain Tiariha Teta Akaru Shilin Piatavido Yayla Naimare Yusovare Jisu Swan Take Jaunia Goba Shiledi Yusovare that comes in Liva with
In the text, it said, Nawaha karehi Indriyani tekani bhavanti. Nawaha karehi means because of 9 factors, the ruling faculties become keen, become clear, become sharp, become courageous. So this basically is the headline for the topic, that there are these 9 factors that exist, which are the causes for the Indriyas to become sharp and keen and strong.
Juliaro Miri Saya Chow Mapizo Menero Piosi Babu Tira Jo Lurare Pogore to the Jet Gongjo Lurare Pogore Solochi Gongjo Beloya the less or body Chow Shaviro Eddie Chownio Pit Havare Tira Tata de Shivio Go Ocho Meo so Amari Shausaviro Manego Loyere Tati Gopo Nyazari Moya Kawere Saushauke Lunjoye Tiare Say Taramio Mioya or Seiko Susida Nide the get Mandiari Sense TV Biro the get Pina Ship that is the Makomio Piatawa, Jisu Swan Chichaunia, Goba Shiledi, Eriko Varega, Patamapio, Musagaro, Upanupanana, Singarana, Kiami Wapasati, Mimiru Kurema, Jotiana Diari, Jaune, Josessa, Delasapini, open up another. The Kubiku Pinita, Saka Pinita. At the Saka Pinita, Diari, a Jonah Pita Mohu, a Jonah Pita to Jonah to Jove. Saya Jonah, Saya Jody, Quincy and Yaki. Pide Yona Diari, Era Palido, Sankara, Lucovara. ကြောင်းနဲ့ကျိုးဆက်စားပြီးတော့ဖြစ်နေတာအဲဒီအကြောင်းနဲ့ကျိုးဆက်စားပြီးတော့ဖြစ်နေတဲ့တရားတွေဟာဖြစ်ပြီးတော့တီးနေတာမဟုတ်ဘူးတဲ့အခုဖြစ်ပြီးတော့အခုပြတ်သွားတာပဲတဲ့ကြည့်လေအခုအတန်လေးတွေကြားပြီးတော့ချက်ချင်းပြောက်သွားတာပဲတက်ကတကကြားတက်ကတကပြောက်နေတာမြင်လာလဲဒီတိုင်းပဲအနံလဲဒီတိုင်းပဲနော်အရသာစားတဲ့ခါလဲရှားပေါက်ရောက်လာတဲ့အရာလေးခဏလေးပြောက်သွားတာပဲကိုယ်ထိတွေ့တဲ့ဟာတွေပူတာနှွေးတာအေးတာတောင်းတာတင်းတာထိပြီးတော့ဒါလေးပြောက်သွားတာပဲစေကုသနာကြံစီတာတွေဒါလေးပြောက်သွားတာပဲရောက်နေကြိုဆက်ဆက်ပြီးတော့ယုံနာတရားတွေဟာကိုယ်ဝင်ပြီးတော့ကိုယ်ဝင်ပြတ်သွားတာတဲ့ဘာမှတာရှိမတည်တတ်ဘူးအဲလိုကြောင်းကျိုးဆက်အခုဝင်ပြီးတော့ကိုယ်လိုပြတ်သွားတဲ့သင်္ခါရတရားတွေရဲ့အပြစ်ကိုအပြစ်ပဲအပြစ်တွေကြီးပဲဆိုတာပေါ့လေဒါလေးနားလည်ရပါတယ်ယုံကြည်ရပါတယ်ဒါပထမဆုံးအရေးကြီးပါတယ်
It's not natural to want something beneficial but to not search for the cause for it. If one wants good results, it's human nature to search for how to obtain them. So there's the ability to govern oneself with regard to faith and the courage to do what is right and to avoid doing what isn't right. Sati, which protects the mind from defilements, collectedness of mind, which keeps the mind unified, and the ability to develop knowledge stage by stage. For these 5 things, for these types of powers, there are 9 causes for these powers to become strong and keen. And among these 9 causes, the first one is that in one's body there is mind and matter that is always arising and passing away, one by one, again and again. And this occurs not without cause. Every result has its own cause. These match exactly. Things that arise due to causes are called sankhara. When conditions are suitable, they come together. And having arisen, they don't stay that way. They fall apart immediately. Sound, the hearing, arises and immediately passes away, one by one. Seeing is the same way. Smelling, tasting, taste is gone in a second. Touching, contact with heat or cold, soft, coarseness, all these things arise and then pass away. And thinking, imagining, these too. All these things are all these things which are related as cause and effect arise and then pass away. So it is said in the text, Upanupananang Sankharanang Kayameva Pasati. The one has to see the dissolution of these things which arise due to causes second by second. So one has to have faith that this is so, that things arise and pass away all the time, and that this is how they behave. And this is the first thing, to have confidence in this fact.
Yuna Diyari, Pibiro Pietore Sura, Kua Mashugi Matikinga Leve, Pietore Diyari Chive Sura Voli, Kilo Leve, Shavuna Voli Yujita Vale, Kua Machete Vega, Tirane Vega, Joyuki Shaviro, Kugan Kawemania Guru Dilu Solo. And now Taiki Munevoli, Dabale, Dabelu, Bajan Letra. Dilu singing in home, low, a day Yawara. Mimi, Jaja, and Nana, Sasa, and Titi. Kika like the show, Mavatama. Pitayona, Choki, Ikan Shuami. Kurema Sabido, Lenny, Pore, Ione. Pito, Piteli, Mavoli, Guru Tribuna Bona, Nina. Malutan Shuava. It's a yogi elope. There's a shubo, she answered, there's a shubo. No nature of a sarwin and letting a ponsa video shimame. Tiliaro, that are side ingredient, Teta, Argon, Kataji, and Jow. Gumurega, Voli, Patama, Musa Lope, Lanzali, put her name as it. No, needed Jama. Sadhu and let me post a video Shinet Babame. Tiliaro, Tanai, or Anemolo, Timave Yachazo.
Mind and matter arise and then pass away. And although one hasn't observed it, one has to have faith that this is so. One shouldn't try to argue otherwise. One shouldn't try to find cause for things to be permanent. And there's no need also to think in terms of Western science. Just observe every seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking as soon as it arises. One has to observe what arises as soon as it arises without missing. One has to try like this. This is the yogi's job. And Sayadawgyi will explain in detail about how to observe in terms of theory and practice. So today Sayadawgyi has talked about, has just begun to talk about the first of the 9 causes for the faculties such as faith, effort, sati, and so on, to become sharp and keen. Tomorrow Sayadawgyi will continue to combine theory and practice in explaining this. So 1 hour is up, so let's stop for today.